From pushing back against sexual harassment to efforts to address the gender pay gap, there is an increased focus in stimulating conversation about women and their evolving roles in the workplace right now. A recent study showing the majority of management positions across all industries are still held by men, with only 38% of those management positions held by women. So if being a boss is your calling, then best-selling author Katrina McGhee is joining us now to talk about how you can make that reality. She's got a new book out. She says success starts with 3 steps. That is, be bold, be brilliant, and be you, which sounds so easy. It's incredibly catching, but how do we make that reality?
Yeah, it sounds like, of course, that's it. I've been me my whole life. Why is that not working for me? But I think what I'm really saying in the book is to embrace your space for greatness.
Okay.
You know, most of us see ourselves through the lens of lack. We go in and get our performance review, and they say, oh, you did great on these 2 things, but here are 25 things that you can work on being better. And so as a result, we constantly see ourselves as not enough. I'm changing the game. I want women to own their greatness, to know their expertise, and to be unapologetic about it.
Well, and that's one of the things that stood out to me, and I actually tried to underline it here, that you said many women in particular struggle to own their excellence, and that's a common theme that you see. And so how do we change that? Because that's a common mistake. We're trying to be modest, or we're trying to not offend somebody, and we end up underselling and cutting ourselves short.
Yeah, so I think it's because we are raised to be humble. And I love humility. I firmly believe in it, but we think about it the wrong way. Humility is not thinking less of yourself, it's thinking of yourself less. Okay. So when we reorient our thinking about what humility really means, then we can start to see ourselves as we are. One of the things I teach is to know your strengths and understand the skills, the things that you have acquired an excellence in, and then marry those with what you really want. Not what you think you can get, but what you really want, and then what you're willing to do to get it. That's where your greatness will be focused.
Well, it seems obvious that people will excel when they tap into a passion. But oftentimes, if you get in the grind of, you go to college, you got bills to pay, you get into work, and your career just goes on, and blink, and you missed it, and decades have gone by. How do you stop and do that really authentic analysis and say, is it time to make a change? Am I where I need to be?
Yeah, sometimes we get stuck in spaces that are too small for our spirit. And so I want to challenge people to get an A player position. That's where you are designed to shine brightest because it's based on your strengths. See, a lot of us, either because we need to get a job right away, or there's a reorg at work and we're not doing the thing we were really hired to do, end up in spaces that are not aligned with our strengths. And so as a result, we struggle. Every once in a while, you need to step back and say, am I using my highest and best skills? Am I in a position where I'm supported by management and leadership? And am I doing the work to grow my own skills?
Do women struggle, though, with being overly sensitive in the workplace? I mean, it seems like there's a big burden. You've got a burden to not overreact to dynamics in the workplace and sort of navigate it maybe more with a male energy that seems to be more acceptable maybe in the workplace, but also how to treat each other, to lift each other up, but still expecting accountability and performance.
I struggle with the whole too sensitive thing because there really are issues in the workplace. I mean, there is definitely a leaky pipeline. We get more college degrees, but we're hired less. And then as you go up in the ranks, you see less women in leadership. And so our sensitivity has a real root. I mean, there are issues there. But at the same time, there are also incredible opportunities. And that's why you have to activate your authenticity, because there's no one better at being you than you. So when you root your confidence in who you really are and your strengths, you can stand stronger.
Katrina, we're just about out of time, but quickly, if someone were to find out there is a pay disparity and your peer is doing the same job as you and you're not being paid the same, what advice would you have to her, or say him?
Do the research.
Okay.
Cultivate connections that can help you behind the scenes, and then speak up with authority.
Where do we get your book?
At Amazon.com or KatrinaMcGhee.com.
Katrina, so nice to meet you. Thank you so much. We'll be right back.